What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I got around to checking out one of the movies that I've been really looking forward to, and it's The Naked Gun 2025, and it's starring Liam Neeson. He's playing Frank Drebin Jr., who is the son of Leslie Nelson's character in the original 3 Naked Gun movies. You're following Liam Neeson, who is trying to crack a murder case for Pamela Anderson's character, and he has to do everything by the book so that the police squad doesn't get shut down, and he wants to follow in his father's footsteps. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, I was very skeptical when they announced that they were going to do The Naked Gun, the whole reboot sequel, because most legacy sequels don't stick the landing. There are a few exceptions that do, but most of the time they don't. Most of the time it's just a cash grab. But then I had a little hope when I saw that teaser trailer, and I loved the teaser trailer, especially in the bank robbery scene, and especially the one scene that became a laugh out loud moment that became gold. And you had a bunch of cops mourning the death of their fathers, their heroes who were cops before them. And one of them was O.J. Simpson, which you've known that he was in the original 3 Naked Gun movies. And then he had his son doing the fourth wall breaking, staring at the camera and be like, that was comedy gold. That's what really sold the movie for the teaser trailer itself. And then I found out that Akiva Schaffer, who was the main group of The Lonely Island with Andy Samberg, was attached to direct this movie. And then Seth MacFarlane, who you may have known him that he's done Family Guy, then he did the 10 movies. He was attached to produce this movie, and I had a lot of hope. Now, Akiva Schaffer, he was the main group of The Lonely Island with Andy Samberg, and they were doing SNL skits of music videos. They were the popular of spoof comedy group artists at that time, and they were firing on all cylinders with their music videos. I loved it when they were doing it over the years, and it became the most memorable music videos of all time. Those music videos were very timeless. And then I found out that he directed Hot Rod, that came out in 2007 with Andy Samberg. I didn't know he directed it until I had to look it up on IMDb. It's very underrated. If you have not checked out Hot Rod, you should. It's hilarious. Then he directed Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, that came out 9 years ago. That movie is so underrated, spoof movies that I've seen, and it was surprisingly funny. At the time, when they were showing the trailers, I had zero interest in it, and I skipped out on the theatrical run. I didn't watch it until I came out on HBO, and I cannot believe how much I enjoyed it, and it's so unfortunate that not a lot of people went out to go support this movie. Then he directed Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, that came out in 2022. It's a Disney Plus movie. I'm not even sure if they still have it on Disney Plus. They might have taken off of that streaming service, and they probably put it on VOD for rent and buy, but it's really good. I actually surprisingly enjoyed that movie. Now, over the last decade, the spoof movies of the genre have been dying. Most of the movies have been terrible. I mean, there are a few exceptions that did stick the landing, like the Lego movies. I thought those movies were one of the best spoof movies. I've grown up watching a lot of spoof movies like Spaceballs, Young Frankenstein, the Scary Movie franchise. Only the first 3. I thought the first 3 were great. The other sequels, the 4th one, not so good. The 5th one, I've been hearing terrible things and I skipped it. But I love the first 3 Scary Movies, and even Austin Powers trilogy. Austin Powers trilogy was one of my favorite spoof movies, and I will say that Good Burger and Wayne's World were technically spoof movies, even though those movies were based off of SNL skits, but I thought those movies were great. I mean, back in the early days, the spoof movies were hitting on all cylinders. Now, I've only seen bits and pieces of Airplane, but I never watched the full film in context. I might have, but I don't remember it much, and then honestly, I hadn't watched the original Naked Gun movies until recently. I've only seen bits and pieces of that film when it came out on TV at the time, but I never watched it in full context of all 3 of those movies. So I started watching the first 3 to get prepped and ready for the new one, and I liked them. I really enjoy them. I thought those 3 movies were basically a product of its time for a spoof comedy that came out in the late 80s and early 90s. I don't think everything in that movie holds up, in my opinion, but that's just me. I don't think they're terrible. I still enjoy them. I would watch them again, of course, but is it a movie that I'm gonna quote many times or watch them on constant repeat? No, it's a movie that I would watch all 3 of them probably every once a year. I mean, the original film was really good. As much as I enjoy the second film, I thought it was my least favorite favorite of the three, and surprisingly, I thought the third film was my favorite of the three, and I never thought I would say that because most of the time the original movies were better and the sequels were fine, and some of them get worse than others. But surprisingly, I actually like the third one more. Never thought I'd say that. And I really love Leslie Nielsen as a comedic actor. I mean, he's no new to doing spoof movies. He's done a lot of spoof movies, even after the Naked Gun movies. I remember he was in Scary Movie 3 that played the president. I thought he was one of the scene stealers. And I remember he was in the superhero movie with Drake Bell that I thought he was fantastic. I mean, he is great when it comes to doing comedy, especially doing spoof. He was one of the biggest comedic stars at that time. But take that with a giant grain of salt. I watched all three of them recently for a couple of days. But now going into the Naked Gun 2025, after seeing the trailers and it being blown away, I will say that this movie lived up to the expectations. I laughed so hard that I never thought I was going to laugh this much in the theater. It is a crowd-pleasing movie. Everybody in the theater were having a good time. The jokes were starting to land. I love Pamela Anderson because Pamela Anderson really is no new to doing comedy spoofs. Like, she's done many spoof movies over the years, and I thought she was great. Her banter with her and Liam Neeson were great. The chemistry worked. The love story worked. I mean, yeah, they do a few of the callbacks to the original Naked Gun movies. There are some similar beats, but it never tries to do a copy and paste, and it never tries too hard to be funny. They stuck to the consistency to how the world is built in the original three Naked Gun movies, and still try to be its own thing and giving us something new and fresh at the same time. I love Paul Walter Hauser, who's playing Liam Neeson's partner in the movie. I thought he was a great addition because Paul Walter Hauser, he's a great comedic actor. I mean, he's been doing a lot of some comedy and maybe some drama here and there, and he is fantastic. I love his addition to the film, and I love how they were able to construct these jokes and being more subtle and it's being funny without trying to be funny. Because most of the time when they try to do comedy, you can always tell that it's being lazy and that they're trying too hard and it doesn't stick the landing. This one does, because subtlety really matters when you're doing comedy. They don't try too hard. Because most of the time when they do comedies, they try too hard and it doesn't stick the landing. You roll your eyes and it takes you out of the film. And they try so hard to be a slapstick, grossed out humor. But this one, they do some grossed out humor, but they don't do it enough to where it's gonna take you out of the movie. They do it so well, and it never pulls any punches with any of the jokes that may be offensive. And I'm glad that they don't hold back and they don't pull any punches. There are a couple of skits in the movie that they take a lot of from other movies like Austin Powers, which you've seen it in the trailer. You know what I'm talking about. And without giving away too much, I'm not going to give away spoilers, but there is one scene in the movie that they took from Mission Impossible, and I'm not going to say which movie it was. Once you get into that scene, you'll know exactly where they got that from, and I was laughing the hardest out of all the scenes of the whole movie. I never thought I was going to laugh this much, but it was great. It was gold. It never tries to make it look like they're trying to copy and paste, and they do this plot twist within the plot twist within the plot twist, and it was so well executed. Akiva Schaffer really knew the assignment of how to do a spoof movie. And it's stupid, it's super silly and ridiculous, but it actually knows what it wants, and it's unapologetic that it is a ridiculous movie, and it never tries to take itself too seriously. Liam Neeson was definitely born for this role. He definitely stepped into the shoes of Leslie Nelson's character, even though he's playing the son of Leslie Nelson. He does it so well, but without trying to copy off of his performance. He does his own thing. He's like the version of the character from Taken, because over the years he has done a lot of action flicks. Ever since he did Taken, he has been done a lot of non-stop action flicks that are basically like Taken sequels. But he has done a lot of great movies over the years, like Schindler's List, and then he did The Phantom Menace that played a Jedi Master Qui-Gon. And we all never thought that he can actually do comedy. Not ever since he did that HBO special that came out years ago, and Liam Neeson did a cameo in that episode called "Life's Too Short" with Ricky Gervais and Warwick Davis and Stephen Merchant, and he was trying to do a audition for a comedy, and that scene is priceless. You can go and look it up on YouTube, and it's no new that he actually worked with Seth MacFarlane, because Seth MacFarlane is attached to as a producer, and he's worked with him in the movie Ted 2. He made a cameo in that movie, and then he worked with him as the main antagonist called A Million Ways to Die in the West. So he has done comedy before, but this film, he was born for this role. It really delivered the comedy. He tries to be serious and he doesn't try so hard to be funny, even though he thinks he's smart, but he's done a lot of stupid shit in this movie, and it's gold. He's definitely the son of Leslie Nielsen. Now, the age gap doesn't really make any sense timeline-wise, but who cares? It doesn't really matter. You have to suspend your disbelief. It's not to be taken seriously. This is not going to be a Godfather movie. It's poking fun of a cop movie. That's the whole point of it. And it plays a lot of the crazy trope, and it does a great job of being meta without trying too hard to be meta. And there's a lot of great laugh out loud moments that I had a great time watching, and a lot of the cast members were gold. I love how subtlety it was with their jokes, and there's not much to say. This is definitely one of the funniest movies I've seen in recent years, and probably the best spoof movies we had in the last decade. And after coming out of the theater, I'm going to say that this is my favorite out of the Naked Gun franchise. I know it's very sacrilegious for me to say this because a lot of people were very attached to the original film. I get that. But you know what? I thought that this was one of the most memorable jokes that I would watch over and over again. And and I hope that studio can listen, and that audiences can go out and support the movie and actually give us more spoof movies. Now studios are already trying to do another spoof legacy sequel. They're the Wayans brothers, who did the original 2 scary movies. They're already doing the new scary movie. Mel Brooks is actually coming back to do Spaceballs, and he's not going to be attached to direct it, but he's going to be a producer, and they announced that they're going to do a Spaceballs sequel. And I hope that those legacy sequels actually live up to the hype, and I hope that you guys can go out and support the movie, because you got to remember, a lot of people bitch and whine about them that, oh, they don't make them like they used to. Well, this is one of those movies that they don't make them like they used to scenario. This is one of the movies that they make them like they used to. This is a movie that it could have been out in the early 2000s or 90s and 80s. It brought back some of the old school, but also that is done in the modern day time. And I hope you guys go out and support it. It's one of my favorite movies of the year. It's definitely the best comedy movie that we've had all year long. I mean, I don't remember what other comedy movies that came out this year. And I hope that people don't sit there and complain that, oh, they don't make them like they used to. Oh, comedy is not as good as they used to. Well, you want to know why that studio is not putting out like they used to? It's because none of you guys go out and support it. I understand the circumstances that it comes out on VOD very soon, and the theatrical runs very short. But because that the movie's been underperforming, and that's why that they put these movies out very soon, because no one goes out to support in the theater. And I understand that the concession stand and the tickets are very expensive, and that's why it's going to be more difficult for people to go out and support these movies. And also, the trailers and ads are like 25 to 30 minutes long, which that's something that the theaters need to stop doing. But the AMC is the only theater that lets people know how long those trailers and ads will last, and that's what takes people out of it. I understand that. And I think that's what's going to turn people off. But I don't want to hear people whining and bitching about, oh, they don't make movies like they used to. When really they do. When they do come around, you guys don't go out and support it. So you guys should have no right to complain. And I know you guys who have been following me for a long time, you heard me say this before, and some people can get very annoyed, but I had to constantly keep reminding people that you have to go and give these movies a chance. You can't keep picking and choosing to what movies you go out to support. Because when they do come around, give it a chance and see where it goes. And if you like it, encourage other people to go out and support a movie like this. You will have a great time watching The Naked Gun. If you're someone out there that loves spoof movies, this is definitely going to be the movie for you. You're going to have a great time. A lot of the theater were laughing a lot. They were laughing hysterically, including myself. And at the end of the movie, people clapped. And also, stay all the way through the end of the post-credits. They definitely add a little bit of nostalgia, and they added some of the text crawl at the end of when the credits starts to roll. They follow the same old school formula that they did in the original Naked Gun movies. And you see an original song playing at the end of the movie that made me laugh. It was gold. I loved it. So I'm going to give the Naked Gun 2025 movie a 9.5 out of 10. There are a few things in the movie in the third act that didn't really stick the landing, but I still think they managed to pull through by the end and still stick the landing. Anyway, what did you think of the Naked Gun 2025? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like this review, make sure you hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell notifications so you know when my videos come up. And if you want to follow my social media platforms, the link tree will be down in the description down below. Anyway, Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day, great evening, wherever you're from, and stay tuned for more of my content.